Hi guys, this is Zorik with Shopping Centers of L.A. I have Phil Atwan from Exchange Resources. Phil, here's a burning question regarding 1031 exchanges. How long can someone hold a property before exchanging, and how should title be held?
Okay, let's take the how long part.
Sure.
Most tax people, though not all, will say you should own it for at least 24 months before you exchange it again.
Right.
There are circumstances, for example, where you're not trying to sell and somebody knocks on your door and is willing to give you $500,000 more than what you paid for it. There may be exceptions in that because your intent was to hold, not to sell.
Sure.
So you might be able to waiver on that with your CPA's help. But generally speaking, most tax people would like to see you hold it at least 2 years.
At least 2 years.
Before you sell it.
2 tax periods?
It depends on who you talk to. A tax period means the rest of this year and all of next, whereas 2 years means 24 months.
Got it.
So it just depends on the CPA, and I always recommend that you speak directly with your CPA, who especially those who understand investment real estate, to guide you in this.
Okay, and then the second part of the question, should somebody consider how title is held or change the vesting before they get into the 24-month wait period or before they go right into the exchange?
Yeah, that's a big subject. First of all, there's 2 ways of looking at it. The way your title reads, like the name of your LLC or the name of your trust or the individuals that own title to the property.
Okay.
Generally speaking, you should be the same title holder on the purchase that you were on the sale. However, there are exceptions to that because to the government, you're not a name. You're a number.
Right.
You're a tax ID number. So what happens is, if we have 2 tax ID numbers, we can split those off to go 2 different directions, depending on if it's a regarded or a disregarded entity. And you're going to have to stay tuned to the next bite for that, because that gets into a lot of other exceptions.
Right.
But generally speaking, you should acquire in the same method that you sold. For example, but if you were in a trust and the lender won't let you take title in the trust, it'll be like husband and wife as community property.
Right.
As long as you're both of the trustees of the trust and both your social security numbers are on that, you can take it in your names as opposed to your trust name and still be okay because the same tax ID numbers are applicable as the seller's party and the buyer's party.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
It does. So if we had a partnership who owned a property and wanted to exchange, but they wanted to go their separate ways, how would they prepare themselves for that?
It depends on how you.
Very common. That comes up all the time.
Oh, it's huge. I find out about this as I begin to engage in discussions with the clients. It depends on how you define a partnership, and that can get really technical. Because if you and I go out and buy a piece of property together, that's not a partnership. It's title held as tenants in common.
Right.
But if we treat it as a partnership, like we treat it that way on our tax return, where it's the partnership that owns it, not us as tenants in common, though we're on the title.
Right, like an LLC.
Like an LLC, that's regarded. Then the LLC has to do the exchange because we don't own it.
Okay.
We don't own the property. We are the partnership holder, and the partnership itself holds and owns the property.
So what would the partners do? How do you recommend them to prepare themselves for a successful exchange if they were going to part ways?
Okay, 2 different ways of doing this. One's called swap and drop, and the other one's called drop and swap.
Okay.
Swap and drop means the partnership itself will do a 1031 exchange, buy 2 properties. And then after it acquires the 2 properties, it will sit on those properties through the partnership or the LLC for a minimum of 12 months. Some CPAs say as high as 24.
Okay.
And then dissolve the partnership into your property to you and my property to me. That's called swap, where we exchange first and then drop. A year or 2 later drop. The other way around is drop and swap. Drop and swap means we're not going to sell or enter into a contract to sell for 12 months. So now we'll dissolve the property and hold title as tenants in common.
Right.
Wait the 12 months minimum, and then later on set up the exchange into a sale where we list and then sell, and then go our separate ways.
Got it.
2 different ways of doing it.
Yeah. Thanks very much. This is Zorik with Shopping Centers of L.A. Phil Atwan, a wealth of knowledge from Exchange Resources.